Question 1a. So in this one, to factorise it, there are only numerical factors, so I'm going to take out a common factor of 2. That's going to leave me inside the bracket 3x plus 5. Down on part B, I'm going to take out a letter as the factor, so I'm going to take out the factor of x, and that's going to leave me with x plus 8. 1b. So on this one, I'm going to take out a common factor of 5 from both terms, and that's going to leave me with x minus 3 inside my bracket. And down on the bottom, I'm going to take out the common factor of x, leaving me with x plus 3 inside my bracket. Question 2a. So this first type of angle is known as an acute angle because it's smaller than 90 degrees. The second angle is called an obtuse angle because it's greater than 90 and less than 180. Question 2b. This angle over here is called a reflex angle. That's an angle that's bigger than 180 degrees, and over here, probably the most recognisable one, this is a right angle, or exactly 90 degrees. Question 3a. So we're going to solve these inequalities the same as we would solve an equation. So subtract 9 from both sides gives me x is greater than 10 when I solve that all the way through. And on this one, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, giving me 5x is less than or equal to 40. Divide both sides by 5, giving me x is less than or equal to 8. 3b. So on this one, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, giving me 5x is less than 10. And then divide both sides by 5, x is less than 2. And on this one, I'm going to add 5 to both sides, giving me 2x is less than or equal to 15. Divide both sides by 2, giving me an answer of x is less than or equal to 7.5. 4a. So to do this one, I'm going to need to set up a stem and leaf diagram. So I draw up my grid. I make sure that all of my stems match the data, so I can see my data runs from something in the teens to something up to the 50s. That's why my stems are 1 to 5. And then I'm going to add in all of my leaves in numerical order as well. Really important that I don't forget to add on a key for this one. It doesn't matter which value I pick, so I've picked 1/3 equals 13. 4b. Same again, start off with my grid, add in all of my stems by looking at my data, then I'm going to add in the leaves for this one. Again, make sure that these are all sorted into numerical order, and final step, don't forget to add a key. Question 5a. So Tim and Sean have aged in the ratio 3 to 4. So Tim's age of 18 represents 3 parts. So I'm going to do 18 divided by 3, which is 6, and that represents 1 part. So then 6 times the 4 will give me Sean's age, which is 24 years old. Question 5b. So they share this money in the ratio 5 to 2. So Richard's £20 is equal to 5 parts. So I'm going to do 20 divided by 5, which is £4. And that represents 1 part. Jenna receives 2 of them. So Jenna receives in total £8. Question 6a. So I know that the angle on a straight line adds up to 180. So 180 minus 124, which is the known angle, will give me my missing angle here, which is 56 degrees. Question 6b. So on this one, I know that the angles around a point add up to 360. So first of all, I'm going to do 60 plus 90 plus 55, and I'm going to add all of those up, and it gives me 205. So 360 minus the 205 gives me my missing angle on this one, which is 155 degrees. Question 7a. So on this one, I need to have the same amount of honey in both jars, but I'm going to have to buy a different amount of jars to achieve this. So the first one, if I buy 1 jar, it's 400 mils, 2 jars, 3 jars, 4 jars, 5 jars. Now I'm going to stop there because I can spot that I think 2000 will be the number that matches both. So if I bought 1 jar of the second one, 2 jars of the second one, 3 jars of the second one, and 4 jars of the second one, I can see that that matches up both of them. So I know that I need 4 of these and 5 of these to get a comparable amount, so I can look at the two prices and decide which one's best. So 5 times £6.20 is £31, and 4 times £7.50 is £30. So from this I can see that this jar is the best value for money. Question 7b. Same again on this one. If I count up in jars of the first one, so I would go 200, 400, 600, 800, and in jars of the second one it would be 150, 300, 450 and 600. That gives me my match, so I need 3 of those and I'm going to need 4 of those. So the first sum I'm going to do is 3 times £3.75, and that will give me my total for the other one, which is £11.25, and then I'm going to need to do 4 times £2.65, which gives me £10.60. So I can see that this jar is the better option. Question 8a. So to simplify all of these, it's 4a. B times b is b squared. This one becomes 2pt, which I've just turned and put them into alphabetical order. And this one, if I count up my a's, there are 2 of them in total. And if I count up my b's, there are 9 of them. Question 8b. So all of these m's added together makes 5m. All of these d's being multiplied by each other is d to the power 4. This one becomes 5xy, and then if I add up all of my m's, there are 4 of them, and my n's come to 15. Question 9a. So to solve this one, I can see that x has 5 added to it and then divided by 6, so I'm going to multiply by 6 first. That gives me x plus 5 equals 42. Then I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, giving me x equals 37 as a final answer. Over on the second one, slightly different this time. This time I'm going to need to add 1 because this divide only happens to the x. So if I add 1 to both sides, that leaves me with x over 2 equals 3, and then multiply both sides by 2, x equals 6. Question 9b. Same again on this one. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 to cancel out this divide by 3. So that gives me x minus 2 equals 15. Add the 2 to both sides. X equals 17. Over on this side, the divide only happens to the x, so I'm going to need to take care of this plus 2, which I'll do by taking away 2 from both sides. So x over 8 is left, and 3 take away 2 is 1. Multiply both sides by 8 to cancel out the divide. X equals 8. Question 10a. Now remember that this is non-calculator, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to set up a couple of calculations first of all. I'm going to write down 50%, 10%, and 5%. And I can find most percentages using this method. So to find 50% of something, I chop it in half. That would be £60. To find 10% of something, I divide it by 10. So that would be £12. And to find 5%, I'm going to take my 10% and chop that in half. So that would be £6. And then to make up 35%, well, I'm going to want one of those, which is 10%, plus another one, that's 20%, plus another one, which is 30%, plus the 5%. So in total, this gives me £42. Question 10b. Same again on this one. So I'm going to start off with my 50%, my 10%, and my 5%. 50% of 350 is 175. 10% of 350 is just 35, and 5% is 17.5. Now to get 65%, rather than count 6 of these, I'm going to take a 50%, which is 175. I'm going to take a 10%, which is 35, and I'm going to take the 5%, which is 17.5. Okay, so when I add up all of these different values, I'm going to get £227.50. Now remember that this 0.5 here has to be a 50 because we're dealing with monies. So don't make that mistake when you give your final answer. Well done if you got all of those correct. Thanks for watching.